Hello everybody and welcome back to the Duke Blue Devils Dynasty mode here in NCAA 2004, back in my favorite NCAA game. But of course over the course of me doing these videos, I'm hoping that changes. I'm hoping one of the newer games kind of catches my eye and maybe that'll shift. But now I'm just rambling. As I just said in the last video that I'm going to try and limit it down to 20 minutes instead of 30 minutes, but I'm already off the rails. But looking at your screen, that is not a mistake. This is not last year. Virginia Tech, yes, has won a second straight national title. So that is the first thing. I forgot to show that in the last video, but yes, Virginia Tech has gone back-to-back here. They barely beat Tennessee last year, but this year they beat the USC Trojans, which I guess I could show. I don't know why I'm not showing it on screen, giving you guys at least something to look at here. But yeah, they managed to win the Sugar Bowl here, back-to-back national championships. Another close one with USC here. Only winning by 3 points here, but they do manage to beat the Trojans. And there's some things, I guess, interesting things I want to look at that I just saw when I was flipping through the rankings and the records and stuff like that that I thought were funny. The biggest one here is in the top 25 polls here. This is just a shock here. Northern Illinois is second. And they went a perfect 14-0. So I guess Northern Illinois could technically claim a national title if they wanted to. I mean, they could try and claim one. I'm sure someone would probably vote them as one, but obviously the BCS winner is Virginia Tech, so I don't know if it would really matter. But yeah, because of, I guess, the MAC and their tie-ins with the BCS program, with the computer, they're probably not going to get the looks here. Obviously, we saw that in my Alabama series with TCU and in Colorado State every year. They got overlooked with teams like us and USC and stuff like that. But maybe Northern Illinois went through that. But of course, look at this, dude. We have the Big 12, of course, here in a logjam as well at the top. The Big 10 had like 3 or 4 like double-digit win teams this year as well. You know, just typical stuff, man. Typical stuff you can expect from the Blue Bloods. There's not like a ton of change here. We do have a couple 0-12ers, I guess, if you guys care about the 0-12ers. The fact that we're not one of them is a great thing, but Arkansas State went 0-12, Indiana also went 0-12. I think they're it, though. I think it's just them too, but either way, we're coming off now of a 5-7 season. A bit of a step back from last year here. It's kind of about the same year. I think statistically it was a lot better, but we just were not finding ways to win games. But it did earn us a contract extension, something that in the Jim Weston era we never got. We're never going to get. We went 9-28 in 3 seasons with Jim Weston, but in the Fred Kirk era, we are already 11-13. We've got a handful of wins in both seasons, so we are already moving on ahead here. So we are going to move on ahead into the offseason here and start reloading for year number 6. Now, I think the class that we're leaving or losing in terms of graduation should be about as small, if not smaller, than last year's. You know, because we still have a lot of young guys on the team. So now let's get into the offseason recap or the schedule here. And okay, so yeah, see, it's a very small list of guys here. We're losing Matt Klein, who never really saw the field here. He was our backup quarterback, 3rd string, never saw the field here. He had a good boost in last offseason that got him up to 68 overall, but just not good enough here to really see the field and do much of anything. Ryan Gallagher split a little bit of time this year at running back. Remember, I lowered the amount of subbing that we did, so Gallagher didn't have as many choices or as many chances, but it was still one of his better seasons running the football for us. Just never really got on the field as much. And then, of course, God say we were losing our fullback. I think we're losing both fullbacks, honestly. And then, of course, our best offensive linemen, Tony Darnell and Jonathan Juneau, are both leaving. So offensive line might have a couple holes on it unless we can replace them. We're losing Carlin Lloyd, who is on roster, he's our best strong safety, but he's only 63. So it's not like we're losing a whole lot. And then, of course, we have to replace kicker as well. But this is it here. So we're losing our starting fullback, but I think we have another 66 behind him. And then, yeah, we're losing our top offensive line pieces as well. But outside of that, I think we're okay. So it's, again, not really losing much of anything. So we are really recruiting with house money right now. We're going into recruiting completely with house money. So let's see exactly what I can do with it here. Maybe I can get us some better prospects. We will have to just wait and see, and I will chime back in and let you all know. All right, everyone, so recruiting this year is a little bit different. A little bit different. So I try to be a little bit more aggressive here because, again, as I said just a second ago, we're recruiting with house money. So we can pretty much do anything that we want. In terms of recruiting, we could go after as many ambitious or unambitious prospects as we want to. And so I tried to get a little bit of a mixed bag with our full prospect list, and it just did not work out exactly how I wanted it to. So first we'll look at who we got. So we got 2 4-stars, 2 4-star running backs. I didn't even know we got 2. I thought I just got 1, but apparently we got 2. So we might need to be making some decisions at running back because we're probably going to be loaded at that position now. But Akil Magnum and Mangum, not Magnum, but Mangum. Interesting. And then Junior Hicks, also funny that Akil Mangum is from Elon, but he's going to Durham, but he's from Elon, so either way. Junior Hicks is also our 4-star running back, so we'll see which one of these guys. I mean, both of them are probably going to stick around on the roster, and we'll probably cut loose some of the lower guys in the depth chart here, like the 60s guys, but these guys should be holding down our backfield. We might have a solid 2 or maybe even 3-back system now with Livingston still in the roster. It might be pretty gruesome, our running back rotation here. We might need to be subbing a lot and getting these guys as many touches as possible. We might even be running the football a lot this season. Who knows? Also got another 3-star tackle, just trying to build up a little bit on the offensive line here. I got him from Kennesaw, so shout out to Kennesaw. I spent like a decade living like 45 minutes from Kennesaw, so but we did get a 3-star tackle to help beef up our offensive line a little bit. We did replace Godsey was his name, I think, our fullback who just graduated, and replaced him with another 3-star prospect. We still have, I think, another 66 on the roster, but Wallace Christensen could probably argue for that starting position right now. So our backfield is completely rebuilt, completely. I did manage to get a new strong safety. He's a JUCO transfer, Michael Newton, as a 3-star. Should at least be able to compete for that starting job. I think he could probably slot in right away. Hopefully he's in like the mid-60s range as a 3-star. I'm not entirely sure where he's going to start, but he should at least be a big enough prospect already off rip. Also got Jeremy Rhodes, his 3-star cornerback kind of fell into my lap, and we were able to get him. Just some depth at the position. I don't think we really need a ton of it. We still have 2 really great options there, but it's not too bad. It's not bad to have more depth at that position. It's not like we're 80s and 90s across the board, man. We were like a couple 70s and a lot of 60s, so getting Jeremy Rhodes is a big boost. Also got another 3-star receiver. We don't need receivers. We're completely loaded, so we're probably going to have to cut at least 1 or 2 of our guys loose as we get to the cutting phase here, but another 3-star receiver in Trenton Cross. I like what he could potentially become. Got another 2-star linebacker as well. This 2-star quarterback just kind of got thrown at me. I was not looking for him at all. Got another 2-star tackle as well, just adding some depth on the offensive line. He's 6'7". 6'7". Yeah. Every time, I'm not even in that age range. I don't even understand the meme, but every time it comes up, I just can't help but think, dude, the stupid meme, it's stupid. It's kind of like when we all said 21 back in the Vine days, if anyone remembers. I'm dating myself a lot here, but either way. So he's 6'7", 300 pounds. That is ridiculous. Got another 2-star strong safety from South Carolina. He might be interesting to see here, but we probably just rebuilt that position. I might even be able to cut who we actually have there currently, because between Stanton here and Newton, who we grabbed, I think these guys could probably just rebuild that position entirely. And then I also managed to grab a kicker. We got another linebacker as well, and Jack Middleton, so just a little bit more depth there. Just didn't really need him, but and then I was actually able to recruit a kicker. He's only a 1-star, so he's probably going to be a little bit worse than Bearden is, but maybe by like his sophomore junior year, he might actually be serviceable as a kicker. Who knows? I just need someone to at least make like close to 70% of their kicks, and I think we should be able to survive. And then I got a 1-star guard, and that's about it. So looking over it now, I thought it was a lot worse than it was. We actually did grab quite a bit of talent. I didn't think it was nearly this good. We actually did get a fair amount of talent coming here. A lot of in-state stuff. We're doing a lot better recruiting in-state as well. And just a solid class overall, real consistent here. I guess, again, we'll look at who I was looking at. I don't think there's a lot of guys that like I was super in on. Maybe this running back I threw some points at here. He ended up going to ECU. That's really kind of about it. I don't think there was a lot of guys that we were really in on that I lost. I think we got most of the guys that I wanted at least. So there was a few, maybe 1 or 2 stars that I lost, but I think we're okay. So last year we finished with the 95th best class in the country. So let's see where we head now. I'm hoping we can get at least close to top 50. I'd love to be inside of it, but I don't think we will be. And yeah, we're outside of the top 50. Obviously, ECU is in the top 50, though. We're 58, so I'll take that. 58th is good. From 95 last year, absolutely, we will happily take 58. That is a huge, huge step up from where we were, man. Humongous step up from where we were. Got 14. We had 10 prospects or 11 prospects last year. A lot of 2s and 3 stars, but this year we have a couple of 4s, and we're up to 14 prospects. Not like a huge difference, but just some better talent that's coming in overall. Just a lot of 3 stars, so we will happily take that here. So now we're going to get into the training phase and see exactly what the team is going to start looking like, because I think actually this year we're probably going to have some cuts that we're going to have to make. So we'll chime back in a second here and get to the roster phase, looking over the final roster. All right, so hopefully we see a little bit more interesting stuff here with training. It wasn't all that great last year. There was still a lot of guys in the 60s. It looks like our linebacking core is going to be pretty beastly this year if you can take a look here on the screen. We should have quite a few guys who are in that mid-70s range here. I still think we're a little bit of a way from getting into the 80s and stuff like that, but we should still have a lot of consistency around the roster, at least in terms of talent. As you can see, there's a ton of 70s already that we're seeing, and those are just the guys who have like greatly improved. We still have a lot of guys who have only improved slightly, who are going to be further down here as I scroll, that are also still going to be in the 70s. So I think overall, on average, we should be in that 70 range. I think competing guys, like I said all last video, man, I think this year might be our year. I think we might finally be able to turn a bit of a corner here, because if we can get just like one decent season and like get like a bowl bid, I think that would up our prestige enough to where we actually like getting consideration from 5 and 4 stars like consistently. So once we do that, bro, this thing's a wrap. It is a wrap, and then we can just like speed run the rest of this series. But for now, we're still competing and fighting at the bottom of the independents, I guess you could say. So, but that is how training, the training results here. So now we're going to get to the cut phase. And I'm actually pretty interested to see what the cut phase looks like, because we should have, so we're up to 60 players. So we are going to have to make some decisions here, some tough decisions. So our quarterback class is actually pretty old, so I'm not sure if we should keep all 4 of them. It's kind of stupid to cut a quarterback anyway, because we could always just redshirt Lewis Henry, because he's a freshman who probably definitely won't see any part of the field here, but I think it'd be stupid to cut Ellison just because he's a senior, and especially because Lenny Jones could also be, he's probably going to be our starter next season. It's very possible that Lenny Jones is our starting quarterback next year, so we're going to keep both these guys here and probably just end up redshirting Lewis Henry. In the running back room here, there are some decisions to make. So maybe Robert Williams is a guy that we could cut loose. He's the slowest of all of our running backs, and he's probably not going to see any part of the field. And Hicks and Mangum, who we just recruited, are sitting right here. So I am going to cut Robert Williams loose because I really don't think we need him on the roster. Fullback is fine here. Receiving corps, definitely got to make some cuts here. We're probably just going to go all the way down to the bottom. So we have a 65 overall senior. We could probably, Seneca May, we could probably cut Seneca May. I don't think it would really hurt our bottom line too terribly much here. I don't think we need him all that bad. I'm going to cut this sophomore as well. I don't think he's going to get anywhere for us, and I think this is fine. And then we can cut elsewhere on the roster. Got to keep Tyson Dillard, of course, who's redshirted last season here. We got 2 seniors. It's fine. We'll leave the tight end situation where it's at. I'm sure we could find, okay, you definitely got to get cut. He was the 1-star guard. He's definitely got to get cut here. And then I think we could probably cut one more. Got to find at least one more guy who we could cut loose. Let me go to this strong safety position, because for sure someone's got to get cut out of here. Yeah, Wilbert Taylor, goodbye. Enjoy your life as an insurance salesman or whatever you're going to be, because you're not going to be a strong safety on the Duke football team anymore. That's for sure. So outside of that, I think we're okay. I know we kind of got like a quick glance at what the depth chart's probably going to look like here, but it's okay. It'll still be fun to go through it and just get a full look at what we can expect to head into for year number 6. I don't know exactly what the age range is for a lot of our guys. We might be skewing a little bit older than I would like, but again, this is the year. This is kind of the year that we're all buying in, and after this season, if we don't get like a huge season, then it could be back to the cellar, man, because if we don't compete well, get our prestige up, and get that look from a lot of prospects in the off season, then it's just going to be the same prospect pool, and I will not be able to maintain that level of talent. I just won't be able to maintain it. So we're just going to kind of go cyclical, like in a circle here, if we don't manage to really kind of knock it out the park this season. So hopefully the depth chart is looking a little bit better here as we get into it. So Aaron Holman's up to an 88 overall. He hasn't really developed all that much outside of his first couple seasons, so that's kind of disappointing to see. But he is up to an 88, so I cannot be upset with that whatsoever. And then Andrew Ellison's also a senior, so we probably won't get a real opportunity to use him all that much, but Lenny Jones, of course, is probably who we're going to start with next season. Josh Livingston up to a 78, still the best running back on the roster, but both Hicks and Mangum are faster than Livingston is, and I think that might actually be what we go for, but I'm going to up the substitution big time, and I want all 3 of these guys touching the football this year. I want all 3 of them touching the football, and we're also going to be running the football a little bit more. At fullback, Johnny Davis up to a 69 as a senior, and then Christensen, who we just recruited, is up to a 68. So already off rip, he's already fighting for that starting position, and he will definitely probably be starting at fullback in the ensuing seasons for sure. And receiving corps, so Patrick Fleming's up to a senior now as a 76, and so is Amari Smalley. So it's our last big season here with our top 2 receivers. But then Trenton Cross, who we just recruited, is up to a 70 already. He was a 3-star, man. He's coming in as a 70 overall. And of course, we have Sidney Peterson at a 68, and then Andrew Wilkerson, kind of some fun younger guys who might get up in that mid-70 range when everything is said and done, but we should have a decent receiving core here over the next couple of seasons. So actually in the short-term future, I'm not super worried about receiver. I think we've got it completely loaded out. which is huge, huge. And then tight end, we're loaded with seniors, because we have Justin Golden and J.P. Kramer, who are both seniors at 75 and 74. And then, of course, Tyson Dillard is ready to go whenever these guys are gone. So for his sophomore onward season, we should be getting a lot out of Tyson Dillard for sure. At left tackle, we have Oliver Duncan at 69. Not great, but we will take it here. At left guard, we have Eric Barnes, but we also have Dan Hobson, who could also fight for that position. We'll see where Hobson's at. He might be slotted in to start somewhere on the line. J.J. Johnson's up to a 73 as a senior at center. And then on the right guard position, we have Marquise Hatcher, who's a 71 overall. And then at right tackle, we have Bruce Sanders. So it's not like great. There's not like a lot of standouts on the line, but everyone's pretty consistently around that like 70, 71 overall mark. So I think we should be able to at least run the football on that with the level of talent that we're going up against. Like most of the defensive lines we're going to go up against are probably averaging in the mid 60s, so I think we should be able to run effectively with this offensive line. Evan Christensen, as a sophomore, is up to a 77. He's easily going to be the best player on this team in a couple of years, man. Like, easily. Just with the laps and overalls, like, he's got to be. He's got to get up there. So, Evan Christensen up to a 77 on the left side here. And then Kevin Molina, who had a good season last year. He definitely, he was big with sacks, so he was able to get in the backfield. And I thought that would be Christensen's bag, but Molina was actually pretty good getting sacks last season on the right side. So, we'll stick with him there. Anthony Westgate and Wes McClain up to 70 in the mid-70s, I'd say. You know, just about 73, 75, right? And then Cash Anderson's a 72. So our defensive line's actually pretty solid across the board, man. We have a lot of consistency. Like, I'm excited about this team. I'm jazzed, dude. This got to be the year that we get over the hump, man. This has to be that year. It just has to be. And then, okay, so we have a situation at linebackers. Let's look at the rest of the linebacking core and see who we have to move around. So Chucky Gordon, who had a great season last year, obviously has to start at middle linebacker for us again. And then Hugh Lindsey up to a 72 overall on the right side as a sophomore. We might start with him, but we got to get McMullen back in the fold, man. We have to, yeah. So McMullen, I don't know why he's not already listed as a starter. He was the freshman All-American from last season, 100 tackles, let's think 16 tackles for loss. I mean, the dude was everywhere. 3 interceptions, 9 sacks. Dude was everywhere. So he's absolutely going to be starting again along with Chucky Gordon. These two guys are great. And I'm probably going to sub less because I think we can rock with Chucky Gordon and Keon Mullen and probably get everything that we need to out of our linebacking core, even though we have so much depth at it. So who knows? Maybe because of the depth, we'll just rotate a little bit more again and see what happens. But at cornerback position here, Darryl Stewart up to a 77 and Joe Bentley up to a 76. These guys, man, just thing one, thing two, man, in our cornerback room, man. It's great to see them. Great to see that we're developing guys like this at that position as well. I was kind of worried about it when I recruited these guys because I was like, dude, I don't even know if we can fix that position. Sterling Ball is a senior up to a 73, and then Derek Maddox is 71, and then Jeremy Rhodes, who we just recruited as a 71, is a freshman, so he's the 5th guy out, man. He's a 71. He'll probably get redshirted because we don't even need him right now. And then at free safety, Mike McCown as a junior is up to a 74. He's growing a little bit here, not developing too much. I think he was a 71 last year, so kind of growing slowly but surely. Michael Newton up to a 72, so we finally have at least an option at strong safety. That's not like awful, not terrible. I mean, we were playing with like walk-ons for the last like 2 seasons, so I think we're okay with Michael Newton being a 72. I'm all right with that. And then of course Richie Johnson's our new kicker is a 57, so probably not a lot we can expect out of him this season, unfortunately. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more, but probably not. So and then of course Project Chapman. We're gonna have to get a new punter after the season, as if anybody cares. But now we're going to get into the season here. I'm going to try and cook something up with the schedule because I still think we need to have a relatively cupcake schedule to just get us over that hump. And then once we do, man, we'll be facing a lot of like-minded competition here. But there should be a lapse in some positions here. We're going to lose some contributors, but the team is still, for the most part, pretty young, so I don't think we have too much to worry about. But again, I still am like putting everything on year 6. We have to cash in on year number 6. Let's go through the schedule. And good Lord, the game is trying to give us an absolute just crazy schedule, man. Look at this. Giving us 3 ranked matchups, especially against Colorado State, who's always good in this game. Yeah, I don't know about that. They at least didn't give us a home and home, which they've been trying to do the last couple seasons. Arkansas State, who went 0-12 last season, maybe they're a team to keep on the schedule. We'll keep a look at that. But okay, let me work my magic and trying to cook something up here, and yeah, we'll chime back in here and of course flip through it before we sim it. Okay, so I'm taking a little bit of a risk here by not having an FCS game on here, but I think we have a lot of, again, winnable games on the schedule that I don't think we should have to worry about. So we're coming into this SMU game a little bit higher ranked than they are, just a few spaces. I think we're pretty evenly matched with the Mustangs. Since that's a road game, we'll probably lose it. It's losable here. Middle Tennessee State's one of the worst teams in the game right now, so we should be able to win this game. I added NC State on here. I'm not really sure how the Wolfpack's been doing. They're ranked pretty high, so it's probably a loss for us here. Arkansas State obviously coming off the win this season, so we're keeping them around. Syracuse has won 3 games in the last 2 seasons. So we're obviously keeping Syracuse on, but it is a road game, so just keep an eye on that. UConn, of course, the team that took our spot in the ACC, they could beat us. I don't think they've contended all that well in the ACC since they've joined it, but they haven't been like completely awful. So I'm keeping the ranked Notre Dame game on here just because, we got to keep one tough game on. I'm compromising with you guys. I'm keeping the one tough game on here. And then Troy State, obviously we're playing again, and the Navy, our fellow independent teams. Kent State, who's also one of the worst teams in this game, also one of the worst teams in real life, just sending it straight to Kent State. Shout out. And then keeping BYU on the schedule again. That was a good game that I think we won I know we won, but it was a good game that I thought was good last year that we won. We're keeping them on. And Louisiana Lafayette, another just horrendous team out of the Sun Belt that we're also keeping on the schedule. So I'm going to tweak the coaching strategy again here. There's not too much I want to change. We're going to try it out. I'm going to balance out our strategy just a little bit here. I think we can run the ball a little bit more. I'm going to keep us aggressive on offense here, and we're going to sub a little bit more, and I think that should be all right. And then I'm probably going to stick with the defensive strategy. It worked out well last year, so I'm not going to bark on it too much here, but I think offense needs to be balanced a little bit more since I think we should be able to run the football a little bit more effectively, and maybe Holden has a bit of a better season without a lot of the load on his back, so pause. And so now I'm going to try and save, and then we're going to run the sim. So then, when I come back, hopefully I have better news for you when I chime back in. All right, everybody, we are back now with the Heisman results here. We have a Heisman winner out of Maryland. So, does Maryland have a Heisman winner? I don't think they do. But someone from North Texas gets votes as well. North Texas completely flipped it around last season. They won like 11 games after going 7-6. The only team in the Sun Belt that had a winning record 2 years ago. They had an amazing year and won it handedly. And I think the next closest team had like 6 wins. It's a weird time in college football, but now we'll focus on our wins, which isn't great. So 7-5 here. Yeah, we don't get a bowl game as well. We don't get a single bowl bid. So I'll sim it in a second here. But yeah, so this season is very interesting, guys. So we start off with a close loss to SMU, who only won 2 games. So we should have won this game. Absolutely should have won this game. They finished a lot worse than we did. And then we went on a kind of a tear here. We barely beat Middle Tennessee State, but then we hit our stride, blew out NC State, who was a decent team this year, beat Arkansas State here, clobbered Syracuse, picked up a big win against UConn, who's really bad this year, even upset Notre Dame. We're one of Notre Dame's 3 losses, guys. We upset Notre Dame. Biggest win in program history, probably. Or at least in this era. And then we just started the spiral. We lose to Troy State. Then we lose to Navy. Then we lose to Kent State. Then we lose to BYU, who at the time I think had only had 1 or 2 wins. And we might have been their first win, actually. I can't remember. But we lose 4 games, and then we pick up a win against Louisiana Lafayette at the end of the season. So a lot of bad teams on our schedule. We absolutely should have won 8 or 9 games this year. Kind of bad. I mean, I think if you're a Duke fan in this era and you want to blame Fred Kirk for this, I think that's believable. I think that's a fair criticism to lay, especially when you consider all the talent. This is the best Duke team that we've had since we've been doing this. So to end up this bad is really kind of upsetting. It's very upsetting. And I knew, like I've said before, I didn't think a 7-5, maybe even an 8-4 season wouldn't even get us an at-large bid for a just random bowl game, and so clearly 7-5 is not going to do it. So now Fred Kirk has a 500. We are 18-18 overall in 3 seasons here in Durham, which is a good thing. I don't think any coach in a 3-year stretch, especially in this era of Duke football, can say that. But still, man, things need to turn around quickly here. This is a big season we needed to cash in, and 7-5 is good, but it's definitely not gonna really push the needle all that much. Okay, we're already 5-6 seasons into this now. And we're still looking for that first bowl bid, man. So we're going to simulate all the bowl games now, and then, of course, we're going to look through our stats, our stat leaders and stat rankings, and then we're going to get on out of here. And here's a very interesting development, guys. Very, very interesting development. So I guess, apparently, Stanford, Stanford is interested in what we have done. and they want us to travel all the way out and take over the Stanford Cardinal. Definitely, we will probably not do that because, of course, this is a Duke rebuild. But Fred Kirk is already getting the acknowledgement from Stanford. So it would kind of be a fun thing, maybe just a realism thing, if, like, I took this job as Fred Kirk and then just created a new coach for Duke. Like, that would be kind of fun, a little bit of realism. I'm thinking that. I'm kicking that around here. I'm thinking about that. But I think we're probably just going to stay with Duke, at least for the contract here, and then we'll see what happens with Fred Kirk. That might be just a pathway here, maybe. Because then I won't have to take over Fred Kirk. I can just, like, have him go to Stanford, and then I'll just, like, have him retire or something, and then just make a brand new coach. I guess I could do that, potentially. But, no, I think we're going to decline this one here. We're going to let Stanford deal with their own problems because we have problems here at Duke that we have to figure out. And I don't think this is a good enough season for Duke, for Fred Kirk to be able to get those kinds of looks. I mean, maybe it is for a 1-11 Stanford team, but we're gonna decline this one here. But we might be getting another one pretty soon. So the prestige is still sitting at 2 stars, which isn't great here. We really need a big boost here because we are going to be losing a few guys this season, a few important contributors. So let's look over our stats now. Aaron Holman definitely has his best season as a senior here. Interceptions trend up a little bit here, and not nearly as many touchdowns as we would like, but the completion percentage is a career best and over 3,600 yards. So it was a great season for Aaron Holman. He definitely gave it his all. We can't be super mad about it. I think he had a great season here. Probably one of the best quarterback seasons here at Duke. So I'm just going to take it and we're going to roll with it, man. We're definitely going to roll with it. Looks like he played a whole season too. Maybe Ellison stepped in for about a game or so, but looks like Aaron Holman, not even a game, like a drive. But Aaron Holman started pretty much the entire season. So Junior Hicks, our freshman, got All-American honors here, 11 touchdowns and over 800 yards and 200 attempts. So that's a good season for him. It doesn't look like anyone else really got to feast, though. It really was just kind of the Junior Hicks show. So I tried to sub a little bit more, and it looks like Junior Hicks was just ended up becoming the primary guy in the backfield, which still not great. So we're still not running the football well at all. And then receiving-wise, takes a step back as well. Patrick Fleming gets close to the 1,000-yard mark again. Almost had it for 4 straight seasons, but just falls a little bit short here. Maybe with the bowl game, he could have got there, but we're not going to get it. 7 touchdowns, though. Not terrible here. At least the receiving is a little bit more consistent this year. It looks like the substitutions definitely spread things out in the receiving corps, just not so much in the backfield. Trenton Cross had a great season as a freshman. Kind of shocked he didn't get freshman All-American honors. Maybe there were just better receivers there, I guess. I don't know. And then J.P. Kramer, also our tight end, had almost 500 yards and a couple touchdowns. But Amari Smalley, man, just a huge fall off there. Definitely was not just not there from his junior season. So unfortunate to see that Amari Smalley just had kind of that level of a fall off. Kind of upsetting to see. Blocking wise, Bruce Sanders, the freshman tackle, has himself a pretty decent year. And J.J. Johnson in his senior season, he's been kind of a mixed bag the last couple of seasons, and he actually has himself a good senior year. So we like that. Oliver Duncan wasn't terrible either. I guess we will take that, but everyone else, again, just not really too much to write home about. Defensively, Chucky Gordon, another great season here. He had 95 last season, 88 tackles this year, up the sack number to 3 and 11 TFLs, but overall our defense just was not nearly as disruptive, and this looks like, this one's looking a little bit clearer to see why we just kind of have a meltdown here, but still, Keelan McMullen still second on the team defensively here in tackles at least, 9 tackles for loss, not awful either, so we will take that here. That brings him down to 6, I think. Sacks only had 3 on the season, and but Anthony Westgate, man, leading the team in TFLs and sacks, so he was really getting in there and causing a lot of problems for opposing quarterbacks this year. And then interceptions, the leaders in 4, Newton. Okay, so our new strong safety, our new start at strong safety, leading the team in interceptions in year 1. We'll happily take that. We will happily take that, especially because that was something that we struggled with so much last year. We really could not generate interceptions for nothing defensively, so we're happy with that. And then Richie Johnson, good God, dude, a 46%. Good. I don't even think. I'm trying to remember. Bluin. I can't remember the kicker's name who just graduated. Man, that's how much I think of how little I think of our kickers. But I think his lowest was 48%. So this is really bad. This is really not great. So yeah, that's probably contributing a lot to how bad the season was for us here, because down the stretch I think we had a lot of close games here that just probably could have been helped a lot if we had a decent kicker, just a halfway decent kicker. So offensively, man, we were top 25 in offense, man. We had a top 25 offense. Passing yards, we had the 5th best passing offense in yards per game in the entire country, and we still went 7-5, man. So, and a big reason running the football. I don't think we've been outside of the bottom 90 like the bottom 20. You know what I mean? So I don't think we've cracked the top 90 in running in yards per game like since we've been here. I just don't think we've been able to do it. Points per game, we were a little bit higher so far. I think last year we were like 24 point something, so we upped it by a couple points. Passing touchdowns a little bit further below, but both rushing and passing were in the top 50, so I'll happily take that. Sacks allowed, we were a lot better at protecting the quarterback this year as well. Red zone percentage was a lot worse though, so we were terrible in the red zone this year compared to last year. Probably a big stat contributor to why things went the way they did, but our defense, man, was completely feasting, man. Our passing defense was absolutely sinister. Top 15 in the country. Yards per game in general in the top 25 as well. Rushing defense was a little bit worse, but still in the top 50, so we will happily take that. Points against was even better than our points for, so we should have definitely won more games probably. We were kind of in the middle of the pack in terms of sacks. The interceptions number is up a lot, but we didn't nearly recover as many fumbles, so those stats were flipped last year essentially, so that's just something to note, I guess. And then red zone percentage here, 45%. So that's a little bit, that's on par with kind of where we were last year. We were a little bit decent here. Only allowed 3 field goals in the red zone all year. That's crazy. So if you were getting in the red zone, you were scoring touchdowns, but we didn't allow many teams to get inside the red zone at all. So we played great red zone defense again for the second straight year, but our offensive production in the red zone was completely just fell off a cliff, man. Completely fell off a cliff. Third down percentage is in the top 20, which is awesome, man. So we had a lot of attempts. I'm guessing that's what that means. I think that more is worse, right? So, but still, 49%, nearly half the time, dude. We were converting on third down. I think that's pretty great. I think most teams would love if they could do that. Even fourth down, bro. We were 13th. 75% of our fourth downs we were converting. So I guess really just the red zone stuff is kind of where we kind of just fell apart. Even penalties, we were so much more disciplined this year. We had over 800 penalty yards last year. So we really trimmed it down a lot this year. We're a lot more disciplined. Yeah, so we were better in certain areas. It just, I guess, didn't culminate in a better season, I guess. It just, I don't know, kind of weird. So, and then in the turnover differential, yeah, so it looks like turnovers, we were a lot worse. 89th in takeaways. I mean, we were bad last year in turnovers too, and the turnover differential was also better a little bit last year as well, so that's something to look at. We didn't generate a lot of opportunities defensively through turnovers and stuff, so yeah, it's an unfortunate series of events here, but it's good enough to at least keep our jobs. We're good. I guess I'll flash the coaching report card. Oh, hold on. Well, let's look at the national champion. I forgot to do that. Oregon is flashed on the screen, so I'm going to guess that they won it, but we'll take a quick look here. Oops. Hold on. I'm flopping around here. With my D-pad. It's a little sensitive. Okay, so now we got to scroll all the way down again. It makes me do that. Okay, so Oregon managed to beat Miami for the national championship. So Oregon fans rejoice. You finally did it. In the sim, you have finally done it. Congratulations. I'm happy for you guys. You've finally done it. But Oregon beats Miami. So just nothing but blue bloods winning these championships. I'm okay with that because typically it lets like Colorado State and like TCU do it, as you saw in the Alabama series. So I'm okay with this. I'm happily okay with this. So, but okay, things are pretty good here as far as job security goes. Duke is still very much okay with how Fred Kirk has done here, even though we were 500 over the last 3 years. Our longest win streak is 6 now. We've upped that. I think it was 2 before that, and now we finally have a winning season at Duke, which is something a lot of coaches cannot say for their time with the Blue Devils. We also have a positive winning record against the top 25. We've only played Notre Dame. That's the only ranked team we've played. So we are 1-0 against ranked opponents. So Fred Kirk is a go. He's got a better winning percentage against the top 25 than James Franklin does, okay? So just book that, okay? Yeah, so we need to do a little bit better. Average attendance is up like more than double. I think it was 8,000 last season when we got the extension, so fans have definitely bought into the Duke turnaround, and I guess we're doing a lot better than the game is telling us because the prestige is still at 2, and you'd think with all this change that we're seeing, it should be up at about 3 by now, but it's okay, man. We'll give it one more year. Well, obviously, we're going to do more seasons of this series, but I'm saying next year should be another good season, I think. We should at least be able to reload a little bit in the next season, in year number 6, 7. I'm already losing track. 6, 7. I said it again. Losing track, but in the next season, we should still also be competitive next year, but after that, I'm not entirely sure. There's some position groups that have the depth to compete for the next couple seasons, like our receiving core, but overall, like quarterback is going to be kind of a question mark next season. Running back will be fine too, but O-line in the near future, I'm not sure how that works out, you know what I mean? So there's some question marks around at certain position groups, but overall, I think we have a good young core that should be able to at least compete and be around that 500 level for the next couple seasons. It's just, that's not going to get us back in the ACC, and it's not going to get us bowl games, so something's going to have to give, and we're going to have to turn the corner at some point. So Hopefully it happens in the next video, but thank you guys so much for watching. I've rambled over 30 minutes once again. Sorry about it, but hopefully you guys enjoy watching these a little bit longer, more loose and less scripted videos. I'm having fun playing my favorite NCAA game. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one here in our off season.